Hello, everyone. I'm Kalina Black, and I'm an educational resources specialist at the Library of Congress. So glad to be here with you this evening to talk to you about the National Book Festival. Um, just let you know what we're planning this year, and just we're really excited to share it with our teacher audience. Just let you know that this event will be recorded, and any questions or other participant contributions may be made publicly available as part of the library's archives. And because this is being recorded, we'll try to make this recording available to you as soon as possible. So our goal this evening is to just give you a quick overview and a glimpse kind of into this year's National Book Festival. It's the 20th anniversary, and the theme this year is celebrating American ingenuity. And we'll get a little bit more into that in a bit. We wanted to do this with you, our teacher audience, and we wanted to do this early because you're obviously very important to us. But we wanted to give you some time to look through what the festival will be offering this year and think and talk with us about how you might use it with your students and the kinds of benefits they may take from it. Um, Participants who are here with us today for the live program are eligible for a certificate of participation, certifying 1 hour, and we'll talk about that and the process for getting that a little bit later in the program. We're also going to be sharing, and we'll want to hear from you some ideas, past possible activity, ideas of things you might do with your students using our content, and we'll get into that a little bit later. You're only going to be hearing me. You'll be seeing the slides that we've put together. We won't be using video tonight just to save bandwidth, but we're eager to have a really robust conversation with you. You'll probably have noticed the chat. Thanks to Kathy for posting the link to the Instagram promo. I hope you had a chance to watch that. If not, we'll get the link in there a little bit later. But feel free to post questions or comments as we go along. We really want to make this a dialogue, and we'll also be posting links as I'm talking, so you can follow along. So the first thing that we wanted to do is just we wanted to have you all introduce yourselves. So if you could just let us know in the chat your first name, where you're joining us from, and the grade levels and subjects that you teach. That'll be helpful to know, and just make sure that you select all participants in the chat box so that everyone can see your responses.
Yeah, just make sure you select to everyone. Thanks.
Yeah. It should say, yeah, to all attendees. Great. Yeah, we're really glad that you're here. Awesome. Yes, thanks everyone for joining us. So as these are continuing to come in, I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview about the Library of Congress. I know that I hope that some of you have had a chance to come and visit us, but if not, we're glad that we can connect virtually. So I wanted to share just a few quick facts about the library and then a couple of, I guess, more fun facts. So as you may know, the library was founded in 1800, and it is the oldest federal cultural institution in the United States. If you have visited, you probably have seen the Thomas Jefferson Building, which was built in 1897, but the library is actually predates the Jefferson Building. Our mission is to engage, inspire, and inform Congress and the American people with a universal and enduring source of knowledge and creativity. So obviously we serve Congress, but we are also the National Library of the United States, so it's very much America's library. And we collect more than just books. You might think, you or your students might think that because we're a library, it's all books, but we collect things like manuscripts, so letters, maps, audio recordings, films, prints, photographs, and more. So got a wide array of formats. And we're located kind of in many places. So one of our campuses is on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. We also have a location in Northwest D.C., facilities in Maryland, Virginia, and in various spots across the world. So just a few fun facts, or just more interesting kind of pieces that you may not know about the library. I've just looked this up actually yesterday. The library houses over 170 million items, and more than 35 million of those are available in the digital collections. So if you visited the library's website, you've probably been hopefully not too overwhelmed by the number of items that are available online, but there's many millions of objects available there. If you were to stack or line up bookshelves kind of end to end, I have heard that there'd be about 830 miles of bookshelves. And as I understand, that's roughly from Washington, D.C. to Orlando. So you can picture that in your mind. 470 languages are represented in our collection. So if you're interested in international collections or works that are in languages other than English, that may be of interest to you. And the library is home to the United States Copyright Office, the Congressional Research Service, which is the research arm of Congress, the Law Library of Congress, and the National Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. So the NLS, which is the final one, provides audio and braille materials for patrons who have no vision, or low vision, or otherwise print disabled. So we're here to talk about the Library of the National Book Festival, which is super exciting. And like I said, it's the 20th anniversary. We will be celebrating this over the weekend of September 25th through 27th, and it will be online. And so we're going to get into the sort of nuts and bolts about the National Book Festival in a minute. But I wanted to kick things off just with some participation and some interaction from you. So I'm going to put up a question stem next, and then I would love it if you could just fill in the gaps in the chat, and then I'll read a few and I'll share my own. So if you can complete this question stem in the chat. I am blank about the National Book Festival because blank. I'll share mine while we're waiting. I am excited about the National Book Festival because I enjoy hearing artists talk about their creative processes. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm enthusiastic about the National Book Festival because I love books. It's great. I am excited about the National Book Festival because authors are my rock stars. I am so excited about the National Book Festival because Jason Reynolds. Yeah, lots of excitement. I'm excited about the National Book Festival because I can attend virtually and I wouldn't be able to attend in person. That's great. Always looking for new texts. I've seen a couple of people who haven't been able to attend before, so that's awesome. That's really kind of the one of the real benefits and such an important benefit of being able to host this festival virtually. So thank you so much for participating. Glad you all are excited, and we're really excited to share with you. I see some curiosity there too, so that's great. And continue, and please feel free to ask questions as we go through. So just to give you some details about this year's festival, as you can imagine, we will be totally virtual, and that offers some great new opportunities. So we're really excited about that. The festival will be held from Friday, September 25th to Sunday, September 27th. And we can talk about the schedule a little bit later. It's meant to be online and interactive, and we're featuring over 120 authors. It is free to attend, but registration is required. And the link that I have on the slide, and will go in the chat box, is the space where you can watch for those registration details. There's going to be a mix of offerings, live event platforms and conversations with authors, as well as on-demand videos. So these are conversations that have been recorded with authors in which they've been asked a series of questions and talk about what they've been working on, talk about things like inspiration and other kinds of reflections. And as part of those live interactions, participants can ask authors questions through a moderated Q&A system. So you can learn more about that by going to the website. In addition to those, for online videos, there'll be materials available for children in teen stages. So the stages are basically those live events and the on-demand videos. And those pre-recorded videos will be available the morning of Friday 25th. And included in those videos are 2-hour-long sessions. One is programming with children's authors, and that's going to be hosted by author John Cheska. And then there's going to be another 1-hour program featuring teen authors, and that program is going to be hosted by Jason Reynolds. So those hour-long sessions will be available on Friday, September 25th. The website that we popped into the chat box, lock.gov/bookfest, is where you'll get all the information. If you forget everything I say, please be sure to refer there. And then content for other stages will be published on the Saturday, the 26th at 9 a.m. In addition to those programs and those videos, we're also going to be offering kind of interactive information booths. And basically we'll have library staff and representatives from various library affiliates and some National Book Festival sponsors will be able to talk and answer questions about what they have to offer and their various projects. So there's lots to see and to learn about. Speaking of sponsors, I just wanted to just point your attention. We know we're really lucky to have the support of various friends and organizations of the library who have generously given their support to make this book festival possible and to make it a success. So we're really grateful, and I know that there's a link in the chat box, so please do take a look at who is involved and who the collaborators are for this great event. So now I'm going to give you kind of an overview of the website. So you've heard me mention loc.gov/bookfest, but I just wanted to walk you through the various components, just so you can find your way around and kind of have a sense of how to navigate it, and hopefully how to get the best use out of it when you are looking at it later on, thinking of how it might be useful for your students or for yourselves. So if you go to loc.gov/bookfest, you'll see a view that's generally like this. Across the top here, you'll see 2020 National Book Festival. You should see festival information, and that will give details about the recordings. All the events will be recorded. Information about the stages and the various kinds of content. Then authors, I'll show you that page in a second, but it's exactly what it sounds like, a list of all the authors who will be participating. The schedule will give you kind of the breakdown of everything that's happening on different days. There's a donate button, there's a sponsors button that I just mentioned a little bit ago, and then the contact us if you have any questions. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this authors page just so you get a sense of all of the authors, poets, illustrators, it says here, who will be involved. Let's see. Madeline Albright, Sandra Cisneros, Robert Pinsky, Jason Reynolds, Rita Dove, Salman Rushdie, Aisha Saeed, on and on. They're all in alphabetical order, so you can take a look when you have a chance and just get a sense of if there's an author here who is one of your students' favorites or one that you would like your students to learn more about. Please do look at this carefully when you can. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the schedule, and I'll go into a little bit of detail. So like I said, this festival will take place on the 25th through the 27th. So that's 3 days of content. So we've tried the site's organized just to sort of help you figure out how you want to, I guess, access or I guess plan your visit, so to speak, or your interaction with the event. Okay, I'm go to the next page. So one way to do it is by stage, and the stages are basically sort of content buckets. So there's content that's geared towards children, there's content that's geared toward teens, there might be kind of thematic element, things that are related to history or science. So if you're interested in a particular area, you can view it that way. And then here you see the drop down of all of the stages. So children's, teens, fiction, poetry, prose, science, understanding our world, just to give you a sense of what's available. If you are only able to attend for a single day live or a particular time, you can also look at the events by day. So you'll see the list here just in sort of chronological order. You can look by date. The videos on demand are, I mentioned those earlier, those are pre-recorded videos that have been done with the authors. And you can view by individual stages. If you're looking for videos on demand that are geared towards kids or ones that are focused on science, you can toggle that way and narrow your search. And then you'll have a list underneath of the authors that are participating, a little bit about their books. And then right under their name, you'll see when that video will be available. So you'll notice that for children, under Angela Dominguez, it's available Friday, September 25th, 2020, which is when the videos on demand for the children's stage will be available. And finally, the timely topics threads are essentially categories around, as it suggests, timely conversations. So the three that we're featuring this year are democracy in the 21st century, fearless women, and hearing Black voices. So it's just another access point if you're particularly interested in, for example, women's suffrage or the history of women's suffrage. You may be interested in looking at the programming that's grouped together under the Fearless Women category. If you're interested in Black history or books or authors who are speaking about racism or anti-racism or Black history or the Black experiences, you might be interested in the Hearing Black Voices topic thread. And if you're interested in democracy, government, or history, that kind of thing, you may be interested in democracy in the 21st century. So it's just another way to access the book festival with a thematic focus. And similar to the other those other links, you can focus within a topic thread on content that's specifically geared toward children, teens, or adults. So before we talk a little bit about how you might use some of the content, I wanted to just give you a chance to share again in the chat box. So at this year's book festival, each author talks about, or will talk about, the idea and the concept of American ingenuity. So we wanted to know what does American ingenuity mean to you? So if you could just share a couple of words in the chat box, and then I can read a few out. What do you think of? What do you picture? What do you imagine? Okay, someone said honest effort for a common good, resourcefulness, great, perseverance in the face of failure, creativity, diversity, and acceptance, creative thinking to uncommon problems, ability to make something from nothing, dreaming big. Great. I think we can tie ingenuity to problem solving, which is a big topic in our SEL curriculum. Great. Yes, thanks for sharing those. And please, if anything strikes you, please do continue to put them in the chat box. It'll be great for our conversation. So, and that's a great launch point into some activity ideas that we've pulled together, and a couple of these, actually most of these ideas are going to be featured in a learning guide that we're putting together. It's going to be a kind of one pager, and that will be available soon. And for details about that, please do keep an eye on our website, the Teaching with Primary Sources website, which we'll link at the end of this. So, these ideas are featured here and will be, shared more widely. But here are just some ideas, and please feel free to chime in with tweaks or additional considerations, or if you have more ideas, please feel free to share them. So as I mentioned, each author talks about the concept of American ingenuity, and you may want to ask your students, what American ingenuity means to them. Who do they picture? What do they picture? What does it mean to them? What what strikes them. And then you may ask them to listen to the responses of a couple of authors and listen to their definitions of American ingenuity and think about them and think about how they compare and what's different, what's interesting, maybe what they focus on, what resonates with them. That's just an idea. Or you might ask your students to take a look at the timely topic threads. If there's a theme that's of interest to them, or issues that you know are important to them, and their perspectives or ideas that they're interested in learning about, perhaps they might choose one of the topic threads to explore. Keeping in mind that we know that there's a lot of content, and maybe it's just selecting a couple of sessions, or maybe it's waiting for the recordings and kind of watching as they have time. Another consideration that we're all probably more familiar with things like web conferencing and video chatting and that kind of thing. But it's kind of interesting to think that with this book festival this year, we'll be getting a glimpse, kind of a behind the scenes look into the home lives and kind of the work environments of authors that we, you know, treasure, or whose work we've read over the years. So it's kind of interesting to think about, what do the authors surround themselves with? And it could be interesting for students to think about that as they're thinking about their own work environments, or perhaps their ideal work environment, and think about what's reflected in your surroundings. And then the last idea we have here is that, and then we'll talk about this in the next slide, but each state center for the book chooses each year a book to kind of represent its state. And you may invite students to find the suggested book for their state, and the link is right there, and it's going to be posted in the chat box. And you may ask them to either read that book or explore that book and ones from other states. And then you might ask them which book they would pick to represent their state. If they had a chance to choose, is there a book that they think could best represent their state? And if you have any other ideas, please do pop them in the chat box. I know that you probably haven't had a lot of time yet to review the website or to get a sense of what is being offered, but here are just a few ideas to get you started. This is the state reads that I just mentioned. So you'll notice on the slide here, there's a map showing all of the states and then the U.S. territories. And if I don't have it, doesn't scroll here, and this is just a screenshot, but if you click on your state, or any state really, there's a grid at the bottom that will show you each book that has been selected for every year. So the first one that you'll see on the top left in that grid is 2020's selection. So this is just another access point. And if you're looking for something that's local, this is a great place to start. Oh, I just, yeah, okay, I see an idea. Perhaps encourage students to set up a personal calendar of author events ahead of time and consider ways to share their NBF experience on the Monday following the festival. That's a great idea. Just do a little bit of pre-planning, just to make the most of the time. And I think if you do have a chance to read through the schedule in advance, I saw that someone earlier mentioned Parker Curry, being excited about that. So if there are other events or speakers that you're interested in looking at, I think definitely encouraging students to take a look and see what they're interested in early will allow them to make the most of their time. Okay, we've been plugging the National Book Festival website, lac.gov/bookfest, and that really is the best place for you to get up to the minute information about the festival, as well as details about how to register, and then details about registration, any details about additional programming, if or schedule changes or that kind of thing, that's the best place. And then, of course, details about any kind of themed merchandise. So we have here on the right side of the screen, you'll see the National Book Festival themed T-shirt. So on the front, you'll see the Book Festival poster, and then the back is a list of authors. So get a little sneak peek into the T-shirt, and then just below that is our NBF themed face mask, which is actually pretty cool. So you'll see when you use. I'll show you the poster at the end of this presentation, and so you'll see how that little sample fits into the poster. And thanks everyone for your comments so far in the chat. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. And thanks to my colleagues who are posting links and who are answering questions. I just mentioned the poster, but if you have been keeping up or if you're curious about posters for past book festivals, you can visit this poster gallery and see all the posters for the past 20 years. So the current years is in the top left, and then we go all the way down. So it's kind of cool to see the evolution of the posters from the very first festival through today. So these posters are available for download, and you can print them as PDFs as well. And on the Sunday after the book festival, so Sunday the 27th of September from 6 to 8 p.m., there's going to be a special program airing on PBS, and it's called the Library of Congress National Book Festival Celebrating American Ingenuity, and it's going to be hosted by Hoda Kotb. And it's a 2-hour special, and we'll be talking to authors who are participating in the festival. And I encourage you to watch this 3-minute clip, kind of promo clip about the event, and we'll pop that link into the chat box. It looks like it'll be a great program, and I definitely encourage you to watch that clip. And for those of you who perhaps didn't see the very first slide we had up or didn't get a chance to watch the promo clip for the book festival, it's available on Instagram. I do encourage you to watch that. It's pretty short, but it's very catchy, and hopefully it'll get you excited about the festival. And just one thing that I just want to emphasize before we open it up for questions is I just encourage you to take the survey, and we'll get the link into the chat box in a second. And if you would like a certificate of participation, and that's again for live participation only, please do email my colleague Mike Appeldorf, and his email is here on the screen, mapf@loc.gov. And that's all I have for you at the moment, but I do encourage you to please ask questions and share more comments and ideas that you have in the chat box, and I or my colleagues are happy to answer what we can. Just checking to see if I missed anything. If someone says they're excited to check out the Great Read site, that's great. I was looking at it this morning, and I was curious of the books that are from all the different states. Oh, great, and thank you, Leanne. Leanne just popped some sort of breaking information. Sounds like so for those of you who aren't seeing the chat on Friday 9/25, so September 25th at 4 p.m. There's going to be a special conversation with the Librarian of Congress, so Dr. Carla Hayden, the director of IMLS, and the chairman of NEH. So I encourage you to to take a look at that. Time. The
Kalina, there's a couple of questions that came in from Mary Johnson. Is there a section about and with illustrators?
Is there a section about and with illustrators? So a section about the National Book Festival? Yes. So I believe that would be in, if not the 2020 National Book Festival tab on the top of the page. I'll go back. Back to that page. So if you see on the top here, 2020 National Book Festival information, I would direct you there. And as for the with illustrators, I'm not sure if they've separated it out with author and illustrator. I believe they're all grouped together. And in fact, when I looked at the author page, I believe it says here authors, poets, and illustrators. So I think that they're all together in this list.
Great. There's another question that came in from Debbie Kelly. Is there a limit to the number of people that can attend a session? From what I understand, Debbie, the sessions all together have a constraint, have a limit of 100,000 people online at once. And once they reach the capacity of, and that's across the festival site and for the live events. And once they reach that capacity, then there is a queue where you will be told that the site is full, and then you'll go into a holding pattern, and they'll invite you to keep checking back. So it's a rather large capacity in terms of that. There was a question about book signings. Kalina, do you want to take that, or do you want me to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, and Kath, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because this is a virtual event, I don't know of any book signings, but I could be wrong.
So from what I understand, they have what are called book plates. And Leanne, I'm going to invite you to step in if I get any of this wrong. There are book plates that for those who purchase books from the vendor for the National Book Festival, and for those who may be local to the DC area, that will be Politics and Prose still. They have been the vendor for a number of years. There are book plates that are going to be inserted into X amount of, so they will have been signed by the authors, but they are National Book Festival book plates that go into the books. That doesn't mean that they have enough for everybody, but I think if you order early, you could be in good shape.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. I was in a meeting the other day and they were talking about all of the authors having received their book plates and now sending them back. And yeah, it's exciting.
Great. Is there anything else I missed? Thanks for the thoughts about what you might do with this content. I saw a suggestion about a virtual book club. Sounds really fun. And
Yeah,
again, thanks, Leanne.
Yeah, Leanne reiterates a really good point, which is all the content for children and teens will be released on Friday, on September 25th at 9 a.m. And then all the other authors' content for all other stages and content areas will be released on Saturday, the 26th at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Great. Yes, thanks for reiterating that.
And Rachel asks, can you pre-order books, or are they only available for purchase that weekend? It will be through that site. It will only be available that weekend. The registration is going to open September 17th for the entire book festival. And as Kalina pointed out, that registration is free, but you do need to register to attend the live events. And the book festival, even though it's in a virtual environment, really will take place starting Friday, September 25th at 9 a.m. and go through Sunday.
Great. And I see a question about content available going forward. Yes. So my understanding is that for the live events, all the events will be recorded and they will be made available same day. So it depends apparently on how long the event is, but those recordings will be available same day and they'll be accessible in the Book Festival platform and on the library's YouTube page.
And there was a question that came in about the book plates. If you already own the author's book, would you be able to purchase the book plate? I suspect the answer is no, but I don't know that for certain. I will certainly pass that question along because this is the National Book Festival and those book plates are made for the National Book Festival. I suspect that they're only available through the National Book Festival and through the sales, but I will double check that for you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Kathy, that's my understanding as well.
Great, thank you.
Great.
From Charla, the t-shirt and mask with parts of the poster, are those available to order? And if so, where?
Yep. So yes, those will be available to order. I would direct you to the Books Festival website, so loc.gov/bookfest, and you'll get details when those are available to order. But yes, they will be available. Great. I'm just scrolling through. I'm really glad to see that that many of you are excited to be able to attend. You know, because you perhaps couldn't attend previous years, so that's great. And I, if you have again questions or anything that you want me to go back to in the PowerPoint, please don't hesitate to let me know. We're trying to make sure we have plenty of time to have a conversation and answer your questions.
And in case you need to step off, I'm just going to put the survey back into the chat. Please give us your feedback. We are planning for the upcoming school year that is now for everybody, most likely, and underway right now. So we'd love to get your feedback on some ideas of some programs that you'd like to see in the future.
Yes.
Great point, Debbie. Integrating this content into history and English in their virtual courses. There is going to be a plethora of content that comes out the weekend of September 25th, 26th, and 27th. And it will probably take some time to cull through. And Kalina did a great job in pointing out how you can look at the different themes, how you can look at the different stages, and really focus in on certain ideas. The other thing that's going to be happening that's really exciting for all of us who work with primary sources is through the events of the virtual book festival, there will be more of a tie-in to the digital collections of the library's online collections. And so we're really excited to see materials from the library's collections woven into the sessions that people will be attending. Lori, your question about I don't see where to register, the registration will open on September 17th. So you haven't missed anything. When you go to loc.gov/bookfest, starting on September 17th, you will be able to register at that point.
Great. And there's a question about the recordings. Will the recordings be available to link to my Google Classroom to share with certain grade levels? I'm not sure exactly about the platform, but I know that for when it's available on the library's YouTube page, you can grab those links. So you should be able to pull from there.
The live sessions will be so all of the recordings for the National Book Festival, all the pre-recorded videos of the over 100 authors will be available through the National Book Festival Presents and by default the Library of Congress's YouTube page. For 60 days after the book festival, all all the videos on demand plus the live sessions will be available for 60 days through that registration system. So you may be able to get both of them to go through your Google Classroom, but as Kalina said, for sure through the library's YouTube.
I got a request to post that survey slide again, so I'm just going to go back to the last one, the survey and the certificate slide. So just toggling through. There it is. And then I just saw a question about, yes, so we can definitely make a PDF version of the slides available on the website. So I think that'll be available on our the webinars page. So we can, I'll post a link, or hopefully one of my colleagues can post a link to that webinars page, and you'll be able to refer to the slides there. And again, we are recording, and the recording will be available as soon as possible. Great. And yeah, thanks Dan and Kathy for posting the links in the chat box. There's a question about, I think it's about the, please give time to register on the 19th. So if that question's about when exactly on the 17th, I'm not exactly sure of the time. Kathy, do you know if there's a stated time when this will start?
No, but I'm sure that the people who are focused on getting it working know
Yeah.
what time it has to be on the 17th. I don't know. That's a really good question,
Yeah.
Cheryl Hughes.
That is a great question. I'm sorry, I don't know the precise time.
Yeah. Yes, it is the 17th.
Yes, it's the 17th, yeah. Great.
As we were told, Cheryl, so.
Yes, right. I don't think, I'm just seeing if I missed anything else.
So yeah, so Kalina, great job on this, and thank you everyone for sharing your ideas. There'll be blog posts coming up in the near future about the book festival, and I know that Dana posted how to get on our email list for updates, and we send out updates when we post to our blog. We'd love for you to stay in touch with us and let us know how things are going as you're moving through the National Book Festival content. It is a very exciting year for the event, first because it's the 20th year, but secondly because doing it online allows for such greater participation than those who are in the DC area and can travel to the convention center. So we're really excited, especially for the educator audience, to see how you work with these materials and how your students receive them and how they can be integrated into, uh, book clubs at your school, or perhaps thematically as you are looking at some of the timely topic themes, and how the small the videos themselves and what the authors share, and all tied to American ingenuity, I think is it's a really exciting time. So please do stay in touch with us and let us know how things are going. And for those who are embarking at the front end of their school year, especially those who might be day two, we just want to say thank you for coming tonight and sharing your thoughts and your ideas. Stay in touch, and that concludes our program. We will have the recording posted as soon as humanly possible. Tomorrow afternoon, for all those who registered, I will also be sending out the recording of this event. So thank you so much, Kalina. This was a great presentation. Dana,
Thank
thank you
you
so
all.
much for the URLs. And Leanne, thank you so much for the breaking news and making sure that we what we said was accurate. So,
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's such an exciting time. It's fun to be able to do a little sneak preview even while the sausage is being made. This is great, you guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and good luck with a very successful school year.